The most festive and joyous holiday is upon us yet again. Even though it seems like only yesterday we were just celebrating the holidays, but here we are again. No, seriously, did someone challenge time to a speedrun anyways? No matter how you celebrate the holidays, it's always a good time to remind ourselves to relax, spoil our loved ones, spend quality time with them, and eat whatever we want. Oh, let's bring on the feast. Holiday dinners, desserts, treats, KFC holiday chicken buckets in Japan. The list goes on. So what better way to enjoy our holiday feast than to watch a very nice show about adventure, friendship, and of course, food. Okay, so realistically, y'all really wanted me to review this anime, so here you go! Happy holidays! Here's your present from Padoru Robyn. Delicious in Dungeon, aka Dungeon Meshi, started off as a manga series written and illustrated by Ryoko Kui. It was serialized in Interbrain's seinen manga magazine, Harta, from February 2014 to September 2023. Shortly afterwards, Dungeon Meshi was given the anime treatment, with 24 episodes released for the winter 2024 lineup, animated by Studio Trigger, the same studio that brought you Severe Mommy Issues, Severe Angel Issues, and Because Trigger. Thank you if you remember this 6-year-old reference, I appreciate you. Kinda fascinating to see a 10-year-old series finally get an anime. Unlike my most beloved manga. One day it will be your time to shine in the sun, my precious. But at the same time, I don't doubt that a story like this would get a series, since the medieval fantasy genre has been increasingly popular in anime since, well, pretty much over the last decade. But there's also been an increase of interest surrounding a certain field of entertainment, which is...
The Demogorgon!
We're in deep shit.
Will, your action!
I don't know.
Fireball!
D&D is very popular. Almost everyone I've ever met absolutely loves it, and I have never played it before, even though I always thought I would really like it.
Damn! I judge you!
So yeah, this is a genre that's gonna be here for quite some time. And yet, here I am, still impressed to see yet another medieval fantasy series gain such popularity and praise, despite coming from an industry casually producing at least 10 different types of this genre per season. Most of them being borderline mid, but you still have some standouts like The Rising of the Shield Hero, Konosuba, Frieren, Beyond the Journey's End, and these two! Sorry, I couldn't help myself. So you can guess that Dungeon Meshi is one of the standouts capable of grabbing people's attention despite its common genre. Why is that, you may be asking? Well, let's take a look. Dungeon Meshi starts off with a random dungeon being discovered out of nowhere. A withered old man appears and declares that he was once the great king of the Lost Golden Kingdom. He also stated that if anyone were to venture inside and defeat the Mad Mage, he would reward them by making them the new king of his kingdom. The old man then fades into nothing but dust, and this basically starts a new expedition for adventurers to seek out the Mad Mage, hoping to become monarchs. The dungeon has many floors filled with monsters, making the task to find the Mad Mage nearly impossible. We are then introduced to our main heroes, a tall man fighter named Laos, an elf mage named Marcel, a halfling rogue named Chilchuck, and a tall man cleric named Fallon, who is Laos' sister. They are accompanied by 2 other fighters as they face off against a red dragon, only to lose significantly since they are low on supplies and are incredibly fatigued. Well, what can I say? You can't really fight a red dragon on an empty stomach, now can you?
My stomach was making the rumblies.
Just before the entire party is wiped out, Fallon uses her magic to teleport the entire group outside of the dungeon, except for her, since she's being eaten by the dragon.
No way.
Yeah, I'm sure she's gonna be just fine.
'Tis but a scratch.
The other 2 party members leave for their own reasons, leaving Laos, Marcel, and Chilchuck alone to save Fallon. If she's not digesting at this point.
This is fine.
Instead of restocking on supplies and trying to find food, Laos comes up with a brilliant idea to go back into the dungeon and find some food along the way. But what kind of food could there possibly be in the dungeon, you may be asking?
We're going to get all of our food from the dungeon.
Huh?
We're really eating monsters?
Yep, every meal.
And now you know why it's called Delicious in Dungeon.
No, I don't know what I expected.
So, Laos has an unhealthy obsession with the idea to cook and eat monsters. But as you can see, he ain't no Gordon Ramsay.
It's fucking
Coincidentally, a dwarf warrior named Senshi happens to see what Laos is trying to do and teaches him how to actually cook a monster.
It's ready.
Okay, now you know why it's called. So this is basically Dungeon Meshi. Adventuring heroes are trying to find the red dragon in order to save Laos' sister, but use the unconventional method of eating and cooking monsters to replenish their strength throughout their journey. That's basically the main gimmick of the show. Just Laos and the others bumping into all sorts of creatures and wondering just how tasty they're gonna be with some barbecue sauce and some butter. Butter. And yet, these methods are presented in ways that connects our own reality by comparing these, ingredients to the ones similar to our own. Oh, there's even plenty of content creators replicating each dish with the ingredients mostly resemble to what's used in the show. And yes, I did watch that episode of Try Not to Eat Dungeon Meshi, and yes, I want to try that dragon meat.
That smells good, just like Mom used to make.
My first impression of the show, after watching the first couple of episodes, was basically like, okay, but what else? Like, it's cute just watching how creative these characters can be with these monsters, but is this really it? Is this really what all of you have been hyping over about? They also seem to be enjoying themselves, considering that Laos' precious little sister is currently being digested in the dragon's stomach.
That's okay.
So, yeah, I was honestly experiencing major tonal dissonance with this show. But then I watched this clip and thought to myself,
Shuro, you shouldn't just eat food when you have the time. To have the energy to do what you want to do, you need to eat and sleep when your body tells you that you need it. Let's eat something.
you know, perhaps I'm just not looking at this show correctly. Dungeon Meshi has a lot that is going on in regards to its world building, with plenty of details being put into every scene, especially when it comes to the cooking department. One can say it's a bit overwhelming considering everything that is going on in the plot as we watch Senshi cook up even more monster mashes. I'm quite proud of that pun, thank you very much. But at the same time, it all starts to work when you start to watch this series like you're playing an actual game of Dungeons & Dragons. Hear me out. D&D campaigns are never straightforward, because, where's the fun in that? Just look at all the crazy plots and creative mechanics Dingo Doodles and her partner make when playing their own game. They bring in homebrew mechanics involving 4-claimer crystals, curse corruptions, pieces of crystals that can somehow transform one of the characters into a magical girl. Don't question it. As someone who used to play D&D and even DM'd a campaign, I am fully aware of the endless possibilities that can and will happen, no matter if the DM planned it that way or not. All the stories I could tell with this campaign. Yeah, I DM'd this one, and I made some memories. And by memories, I mean trauma. Oh, the stories I can tell you. The plot of Dungeon Meshi runs perfectly like a D&D campaign with one central goal in mind. What's our quest? Find the Mad Mage and become the new rulers of the Lost Golden Kingdom. How do we do it? In whatever way we can think of. Most of the adventurers either vacate back to town in order to sell their wares and eat decent food, or just hang around in the first level area where they can socialize. But Laos has found a way to keep going by eating any kind of monster they defeat. It's just another mechanic this group is able to exploit to their advantage. Okay, now I have the sudden urge to make a new character with a cooking ability. Like, seriously, we have mages, fighters, monks, paladins, etc. Where's the chefs? I want to make a chef character. Okay, now I'm just nerding out with this kind of point of view, but whether you like D&D or not, does the overwhelming nature of Dungeon Meshi work? I honestly think that regardless on how you watch the show, the world of Dungeon Meshi is carried out nicely because of the characters. Each of our heroes are so different from one another that their chemistry is often very wholesome to witness. Senshi is a lovable dwarf with his own sense of priorities that tends to clash with the other members.
Toss them if you want.
Are they poisonous or do they just taste bad?
What are you talking about? You'd break your teeth. You can't eat real treasure.
What? Whoops!
own point of view gives a new perspective for the others to think about and reflect on. He's wholesome, knowledgeable, comforting, I want a plush of him, he's got an endearing backstory explaining how he learned how to cook monsters. He's also Steven Universe, apparently.
Then I'm Steven Universe, and you're in my bathroom.
Okay, bring up that old meme of, you feel old yet? Seriously, why does he look like Steven? Joe-Chuck is often mistreated for his childlike appearance.
I have a wife and kids, but for reasons I haven't seen them in a while.
You don't look a day over 20.
So he tries to assert himself as a self-reliant expert who knows what he's doing. This often leads to several arguments, especially against Laos and Senshi, but he means well since he just wants to support the team and do his job. Marcel is a by-the-book mage and a massive So of course, having to team up with Laos and Senshi overwhelms her quite often. Everything she has ever known has come from years of study and practical lessons, which doesn't mesh well with her chaotic team members doing unorthodox things that make very little sense to her. Yeah, long story short, she's not too fond of eating monsters or wearing cute little froggy suits. I want a froggy suit. But she doesn't really mind too much about the cooking since Senshi is an excellent chef.
So good!
And then there's Laos. Okay, Laos. He is honestly one of the more unique characters I've come across lately. Him wanting to eat monsters wasn't just because it was an instant solution to feed himself and his party. He genuinely always wanted to eat monsters.
You're a little too into this. Is eating monsters some kind of weird fantasy of yours?
This fixation alone causes numerous outbursts amongst the party, but not just because it's extremely unheard of, but
I'm afraid to finally learn the truth.
How horrible.
Senshi. Well, we got that, Griffin. You want to eat it?
Okay, so, as I announced on X, Twitter, whatever, that I was finally watching Dungeon Meshi, one of my longtime viewers, Mad Hatterison, pointed out something I honestly didn't realize.
The protagonist is a really great definition of autism coded.
For those of you who are unaware of coded traits, it's where a character, whether intentional by the writer or not, give off characteristics shared with certain types of real-life traits. Autism coded is basically a character given autistic behavioral traits, even though it's not made verbally clear that they have autism. These types of characteristics include disregarding social cues.
Well, we got that, Griffin. You want to eat it?
Noticing small details or patterns.
Boxes are the perfect hiding spot for mimics and tentacles. For you to not even worry about that kind of stuck out to me. For someone who respects the balance of an ecosystem, that seemed a bit careless. In this case, it was that absent-mindedness that made me think you were the real one.
And of course, hyperfixating on certain topics.
All right, I admit it. I do love monsters. I love how they look, how they sound, how they live, and I always wondered how they taste.
He's a psychopath.
I mean, yeah, that's amazingly accurate. Laos is a peculiar main character, often doing things despite everyone's reactions. He's extremely hyper-fixated on how monsters would taste, and gets extremely excited to see what he and Senshi could cook up next, despite the desperate situation they often find themselves in. He also has difficulty reading the room at times, if you couldn't tell. His hyperfixation leads to many awkward interactions he doesn't fully comprehend, but these interactions come off more as passionate and innocent rather than selfish. This is a positively innocent character we don't really see in male leads, so Laos is definitely an interesting protagonist in the best way possible.
Saving my poor sister is the only thing on my mind.
Sure it is.
Also, I'm not really an expert on this type of subject since, well, I'm not autistic myself, but Mad Hatterison's post just made me see Laos in a more interesting approach. So, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Overall, Dungeon Meshi is a genuinely good time. It can feel a bit overwhelming with everything that's happening, from cooking, to dungeon lore, whatever the hell happened to Fallon, why the Mad Mage is mad, everyone's sudden take on dark magic, elf politics, why is this guy always giving us the creepy stare, please don't stare at us like that. But yeah, anyways, less talking, more cooking. It's a lot. At least it's a lot more than you'd expect from a show about cooking monsters, but I digress. I still think it's a fun show that I'd highly recommend, and you can definitely check it out on Netflix. As for the English dub, alright, some of y'all got real mad at me because I forgot to mention Young Yi when I reviewed Stone Ocean, and I made a little short to kind of compensate for that. But yeah, you got mad because I gave all this attention to Corpse in Tribe 9 and not Young Yi. Regardless, I was gonna mention the cast anyways, because holy crap, this cast is loaded! We got Emily Rudd voicing Marcel, aka Nami from the live-action adaptation of One Piece. Yeah, Netflix often likes using their own actors to voice their anime, but her performance is genuinely good and it actually works. Unlike a certain someone...
Why would you say that? I did it because I wanted to lord it over my parents. It really had nothing to do with you.
Mr. Monotone actor being Mr. Monotone character, that's all I'm saying. Laos is voiced by Damien Haas from the popular YouTube channel Smosh. It's honestly pretty cool to see him voice acting, and yeah, I also didn't know that he voiced Kyoko Kudo from My Happy Marriage.
Did I not just say I've heard enough of your horrid nonsense? I would not and will never marry an arrogant woman like yourself, even if the very heavens demanded it.
This is a dungeon, so it might have dire ducks with man-eating green onions. Now there's something fun and tasty.
So there's that. And yes, he was also in the Try Not to Eat Dungeon Meshi episode.
Oh no, it's growing. Oh no, it's growing. Is this ghost pepper? Are you nuts?
The major standout from this cast is none other than Sungwon Cho, aka ProZD, voicing Senshi. Now, you gotta love it sometimes seeing YouTubers make their way into the voice acting realm. It's honestly pretty cool. And yes, I forgot to mention he was also in Solo Leveling. There you go.
You'll receive a formal apology for what Tishi put you through. But first things first, let's address the main issue.
These have to be prepared for cooking. You have to chop off the pincers, head, legs, and tail. Especially the tail. Gives you the run something fierce.
Ooh, I also wanted to point out that I recognize one voice actor in particular because of a certain video game I play quite a lot.
They're in the usual Elvish language, and according to the penmanship, it is the same author.
Corey Burton! That's Corey Burton right there. I know Corey Burton when I hear him. I'm Ashley Instead, and new voice of Ansem.
Ah, well met.
I recognize that voice anywhere. Thanks, Kingdom Hearts. Anyways, with all these talented actors, Dungeon Meshi's English dub is honestly very good. I highly recommend it. I honestly didn't know what to expect from a show about cooking monsters in a dungeon. But then again, I could say the same thing about a cooking show where people get foodgasms when eating them. Both of them. It's got a lot of ideas that may be a bit overwhelming to some, but this comes off to me as a very well-detailed D&D campaign with an impressive cooking mechanic. Seriously, I need to make a chef character right now. But anyways, I had fun watching this series, and I think with its premise and characters, you'll like it too. If you're in the mood for an interesting dungeon crawler series full of world-building lore, good characters, and cooking, then you should definitely check out Dungeon Meshi.
I always wondered how they'd taste.
What is that? It's like purple snot.
Cooking is so fun. Cooking is so fun. Now it's time to take a break and see what we have done. Yay! It's ready!
Guys, how about we all head back to town for some dinner? Does this sound good?
Yeah!
A few minutes later.
Oh no, looks like they were headed back to town too.
I'm a brave boy. Not a brave enough boy for this!
I can't wait to eat this bagel.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Wait, Ludwig, you watch anime?
No.
Imagine watching anime. Could have been me.
Finally, some good fucking food.
Now there's many uses for chocolate syrup in the kitchen and a few in the bedroom. What's going on?
Here's the thing. Okay, right, you know what? I wasn't going to say anything because I'm a good friend, but I feel I need to intervene. You three are acting weird. This group is full of weirdos.
I'm glad they find my death so hilarious.
Andy, watch me do the grouchy Squidward.
Stop naming moves after me.
Everybody's an idiot except for me.
Well, it's true.
Cause he had a bad day, you try to go by, you sing a sad song, but it goes in your eye.
Who hired this crew? This is undoubtedly the seediest bunch of cutthroats, villains, and scoundrels I have ever seen, so who hired them?
No, Kitty, this is not Putt-Pat. No, Kitty's a bad kid. No, Kitty's not Putt-Pat. Mom, Kitty's being a dildo.
It's true, he is a giant chicken.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you. I'm bigger than you, I'm higher in the food chain. Get in my belly.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
Cause you didn't fucking cook it.
I want an ice cream.
What's the magic word?
Everything in this room is eatable. Even I'm eatable. But that is called cannibalism, my dear children, and is in fact frowned upon in most societies.
Me and my boys gonna mess you up. I rolled a one. Fuck.
You ate the crab? Me too.
Happy holidays from all of us to you. Now my question to all of you is, would you eat monsters? Especially if they're cooked by Senshi? Let me know in the comments down below. Before the video ends, I just want to give a special thank you to my amazing Patreon supporters. You've done a lot to help me make my videos just by supporting me, so seriously, I can't thank you all enough. And of course, I want to thank all of you for watching this video to the very end. More awesome videos will be on the way. Happy holidays, and stay tuned to Anime America.